Hey folks, Justin from Tackle Tactics. The Southeast Queensland lockdown ends today at 4 p.m. The alarm is set. As soon as that alarm goes off, out the door, and I reckon we can get to a land-based flatty spot and probably have an hour of light left in the day to try and catch a flathead. Gearing up really simple. So I've just got one of my favourite combos here, rigged up with a 3-inch MinnowZ rigged weedless on a TT Lures SnakelockZ. And the gear that I'm taking with me, I'm going to take a TT Lures weedless rig value pack, so it's got a mixture of head weights in there and also hook sizes, so I can change up that head weight if I need to. I'm taking the 3-inch MinnowZ, an old favourite, in a dark colour, a fluoro colour, and also a natural lighter colour. Mullet Pro Cure, some 10-pound Platypus Stealth FC leader, and we're pretty much ready to rumble. So I'm just going to throw that in a bag, take you guys land-based flathead fishing this afternoon, out of lockdown. Let's see if we can get a fish, and hopefully give you guys a few tips as well for catching a flathead land-based. Bring it on. Alright folks, that's it, we're game on. It's been an absolute glass out through the whole of lockdown, and now it's blowing southeasterly. As we said, we're fishing a weedy edge. Got that 3830 SnakelockZ and that super deadly 3-inch MinnowZ. Gone for an old favourite, glow Chartreuse. Yeah, she's windy. You can see how that wind blowing onto the bank here is making the water dirty. That's why I've gone for that glow Chartreuse colour. Help the fish find that presentation. We've got the paddle tail, so lots of action. We've also got that glow Chartreuse colour, so help them find it in that dirty water. Now, a lot of people would fish a 2 to 4 kilo rod for flatties, and I like a 2 to 4 kilo when I'm fishing 1/8 to about 1/4 ounce jigheads. But when I'm throwing 3/8 ounce on these deeper sort of edges, especially in the wind, that 3 to 6 kilo gives me a fair bit more control. So I'm fishing that black Mamba, TT Rod's black Mamba in a 3 to 6 kilo. It's an absolute beast of a rod. It's a beautiful rod. I've just got it paired up with a little Epixor, Okuma Epixor. I'll generally fish a 20 or a 30 size for this type of fishing. 6 to 10 pound braid, 10 pound leader generally. 10 pound leader, I find you still catch brim and stuff where I'm fishing, especially with the water a bit murky. But 10 pound means if you do hook a tailor or a, you know, decent flatty or whatever, you've still got a good chance of landing the fish. That 3/8 head allows me to fish fairly quickly as well, cover a bit of water. Work our way along the edge and see if we can find an active flatty. So I'm just sort of taking 2 or 3 steps, casting again, and so we're covering the ground as we travel along this edge. Watching that line, we're on the bottom. Bottom again. When I'm fishing weedless, I like to keep the lure working. You know, it improves your hookup rate. If you are moving the lure, you tend to almost get 100% hookup rate. So I like to keep it moving. I don't pause too long like I do sometimes with a standard jig head, but at the same time you still want to make sure you're on the bottom, because that's where the fish are. Great thing about flatty fishing, you can catch them land-based. You don't need to be out in a boat or kayak even. Just any bank on those last couple of hours of the run-out tide is perfect. Just working the edges. All the bait comes off the flats. The fish concentrate on the edges, and that's where we're targeting them. Just targeting the edge of the channel, and they'll just be hanging out along this edge. So theoretically, if we cover enough of the edge, we're going to come across some flathead. one more cast with the blow Chartreuse. Then I'm going to change it up to an afternoon, early morning and dirty water favourite. Put on a gold rush colour. Not feeling it. So it doesn't take much to change this plucky up. We'll just take that off. Grab out a gold rush. We don't have a big window of time to work with, so we want to try some stuff, see if we can switch one on. So I've got my gold rush here. So weedless rigging, not too difficult, just go in through the nose and out on about a 45-degree angle or so. We want to slide it right up onto that keeper, and you can see it's locked in there so it can't move. Now we just got to put our hook straight up through the bottom of our plastic, sit it in that fin, and that is beautiful, ready to rumble. We'll put some scent on it as well, seeing we're just taking it out of the pack. Alright, that is beautiful. Gold rush really catches that sun in the late afternoon. Dark profile so the fish can see it easier, and it's definitely a great performer late arvo and in dirty water, early morning when there's low light. Really catches the light that's there. Now check this out here, this is absolutely prime. There's a gutter, so we've got a gutter flowing out here. These little tiny gutters are brilliant. So this gutter will drain the bait off the flats, so I call them bait funnels, and the flathead will be hanging around the mouth of the drain because that's where the bait's coming out off the flats. So the bait will try and stay on the flats as long as it can because it doesn't want to get eaten by a flathead. So instead of just stepping along, I'll stop near this drain and I'll throw a few extra casts in here. Works the same for a lot of species, barra, jacks, whatever you might be chasing. They love the drains because the drains are little roads for the bait to travel. And they can just sit at the mouth of it and cash in as the bait comes out. So we've got the tide running out, still just slightly. So the water will be moving down that way, so the fish will often hold downstream from the drain. So we'll work our way down along the mouth of this drain. Never know your luck. While we're waiting for it to go slack when it hits the bottom, keep an eye out for any sort of taps on the line, any ticks, movement in the line, which could be a strike. You'll sometimes feel it as well. And if you do feel that tap on your line while the lure's sinking, it's generally a fish eating it on the sink, on the drop. And so you want to set that hook. So just keep an eye and a feel out for that tick on the drop, that tap, and set the hook if you do see it or feel it. A lot of time those flathead will just eat it on the drop. They love it. It's funny sometimes too, it's worth persisting because sometimes I find the fish will bite better on the run out, end of the run out. Sometimes they will bite better on the start of the run in. Get really aggressive on the start of the run in. The trick with the start of the run in is you often don't have as much time to fish. On the end of the run out, you've got a fair bit of time with the water dropping off the banks and that, but once the tide starts to push in, it can sometimes push in quickly up over the banks and you don't have a lot of time. So run and gun, make the most of that time hitting the edges and see if you can get a bite on that run-in tide as well. Oh, there we go. Do the miles, get the smiles. Doesn't feel real big, but you never know. Hopefully it's a flatfish. So we've just been working our way along, you know. Oh, they give you a bit of stick in the shallows too. That is a cranky fish. Feels alright. So when we come into the edge here, we're just going to use the momentum of the water to bring him up the bank. Have a look at that sucker. That is awesome. That's what we've been looking for. Beautiful flatty. That is an awesome fish in the arvo here. Put him on the ruler. What have we got here? So 38. 48, mid-50s. So a mid-50s flatty. Beautiful fish. That is awesome. So, you know, we've been talking through what we've been doing, systematically working our way along the edge, and we got the bite. And that's what it's all about. That's beautiful. And they normally pin nicely in the lip with that weedless jighead. There we go. What a great fish. That's our presentation. ZMan, 3-inch minnows. She's a bit messed up on the head now from the fish whacking it, but that's the great thing about this ZMan elastic plastic. You know, any other plastic would be annihilated now, whereas that there we can pull that back into place. We're ready to rumble again. Good as new. Good as new. I've caught up to 50 flathead on a single 3-inch minnows, so that is awesome. Job done. Beautiful fish. I'm going to sit my reel gently down on the shell so I can give you a better look at this fish. Have a look at that guy. Stoked. Oh man, that is just, you know, no contact with anyone, just here fishing, minding my own business, not battling the crowds at the supermarkets. And if I wanted to, I could have eaten that fish for dinner. There you go, folks. We got out of lockdown. We got our flatty, a nice one, 55 centimetre fish off the bank. Had about an hour or so to fish, so we did it right. And hopefully you guys get out and about and get into a fish as well. But if you can't fish, you know, stay safe, keep watching, keep reading, you know, get your gear ready. And hopefully if you're not out on the water now, you'll be out there soon and getting stuck into a few fish. All the best.